Hey guys, Sarah here with Books and Baubles. I just got back from the movie Me Before You and I wanted to talk a little bit about it, so here goes nothing. So Me Before You is the beautiful love story of when Daenerys Targaryen and Neville Longbottom were in love and had this beautiful relationship, and they were overseen by none other than John Bates. Now, this all went along very symbiotically until Finnick Odair decided to step in and totally screw up their relationship. To be serious, it was a really great movie. Me Before You is the story of Will Traynor and Louisa Clark, who was hired to take care of him. And Will has decided that he wants to end his own life, and Louisa has been hired to sort of try and keep him happy. And the book itself, I feel like there was less of an actual relationship between the two of them right up until the end. So there was a little bit more, the storyline here was a little bit more sussed out in the movie. And I actually liked the characters better in the movie than I did in the book, even though the characters themselves were fuller in the book. They were pretty much just assholes. So, yeah. I think that they did a really lovely job adapting it. The storylines were very closely matched between the book and the movie. I personally, my favorite screen adaptation of a book was The Time Traveler's Wife. I think that they did a really wonderful job adapting that story to the film. And I would say this is probably a close second. They got most of the major plot lines. They did add an extra kiss in the book. Louisa and Will only kissed once, and they added an extra few kisses in this because they actually kissed at the end. But I feel like in this there was a little bit more substantial of a relationship. I feel like in the book, obviously there was an underlying relationship, but they didn't really get to the point until right at the end, right before he decided that he was, well, I guess he had always known that he was really going to go to Dignitas to end his life, but I don't feel like they got to that point of having a relationship until right at the end, right before he actually went. Obviously it was all building underneath, but it wasn't up at the surface where you could see it. I feel like the relationship between Louisa and Patrick was much more substantial in the book. I feel like Louisa and Patrick had a better relationship in the film than they did in the book. I feel like all of the characters, including Patrick, were much larger assholes in the book. Will's mother, bitch, in the book. I actually really liked her on film. She was a pleasant and lovely person who just cared about her son. His father didn't have an affair in the film, whereas he did in the book. Louisa's parents were really just mean to her in the book, and they were very kind and loving in the film. Her sister, much more giving and much more worried about Louisa as opposed to just being self-centered like she was in the book. And all of these people had their reasons for doing what they did in the book, but I feel like in order to concentrate the movie on the characters it was meant to focus on, being Louisa and Will, I feel like they had to sort of cut out all of that character backstory. And so they, in order to not have to explain why everyone was so rude to Louisa, they just sort of cut that all out. And, well, they're not jerks. They're just being kind people. And I feel like they had to do that just to take out that backstory and save some time. But overall, I feel like it was a really good book to screen adaptation. I would recommend everyone who loves a good love story to go and see it. My sister was bawling by the end. My mom was crying. I don't know. I still feel like I wanted a little bit more from it, but I felt that way about the book too. I wanted something a little bit more than what they gave me, but I'm hoping that in After You, you'll get to see a real relationship, something really substantial for Louisa, and to see her happy and fulfilled in her life. So when I get to that book, right now I'm sort of obsessed with Lunar Chronicles, but when I get to After You, I will do a review on that, and I'll talk about whether or not I felt like it fulfilled all of my longings for her life. But yeah, so if you wanted to go see Me Before You, and hopefully you read the book before you were watching this, because otherwise I might have ruined some things for you, I definitely would say go do it. It was a lovely movie, and they did a nice job. So, plus it had like all of my favorite characters. I mean, Daenerys Targaryen and Finnick Odair and John Bates and Neville Longbottom and all of my favorite films and TV shows. Come on, you can't go wrong. If you also enjoyed this film, leave it in the comment section below. Hit the thumbs up button and subscribe, please. And yeah, so I'll see you all later. Bye.